Like a man's losing interest in you. Let me break down why. You meet a guy, everything's all good, everything's great. You guys both start off at 100.
Giving 100%.
You're both giving 100%. All of a sudden, he drops down to 90.
But only a 10% change.
Exactly.
Because maybe you said something that seems slightly off. You've said something, so he goes, okay, well, I'll give in 5% more, back up to 95.
Right? Then, out of nowhere, it drops again. But this time, it drops to 80.
This is more noticeable. You bring it up again, he'll go back up to 85 after you've talked about it the second time.
85%.
Yeah.
Bear in mind, this whole time, you're still giving 100. Drop happens again, to 70. And you're like, whoa, this is a really big change. Like, can we talk about this communication, blah, 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 blah. He's like, hey, that's my bad. I'm sorry. I've been busy, this and that. And he goes back and he brings it back.
75.
As time goes on, he's only doing less and less and less and less. Every time he goes up by a little bit more, you're like, oh, he's improving.
You're happy with that 5% improvement. Haven't realized that he's gone down from when he was giving 100.
He's improved since last week. You haven't noticed that for the past 2-3 months, he's been going down, less and less and less.
Gets to this point, he's not coming around to your house. He's expecting you to always go travel to him. He's not communicating. He's literally doing less than the bare minimum, but you're happy when he does give breadcrumbs of effort.
When really, at the end of the day, he's giving you barely anything at all.
He's giving you 5%. And basically, this is what this guy does to every single girl he
That's just not true.
Not coming around to
Oh my God. So they're literally doing an analysis of their relationship. And this makes a lot of sense, you know, because he keeps breadcrumbing you, and you don't notice it. You're so appreciative of the 5%. He started off with 100%, and he keeps going down and down and down. And each time you talk about it, he adds 5%. So you feel like, okay, he has improved, he's improving. But whereas if you check it, it was at 100% in the beginning. He was giving his all the energy, the love, the support, the care. He was always around. But at some point, it keeps going down and down and down. And before you notice, you're the one chasing him. He's not chasing you anymore. But every time you talk about it, he keeps throwing like some 5% into the ring. And that's breadcrumbing. And that's not good. That's not healthy for the relationship. He loses interest. He has lost interest long time ago. But because you keep talking to him and he keeps like, okay, let me hang around. Let me just hang around here. But he's not there 100%. It's like sitting on the beach and putting your legs in the water but never going for a swim.
to your house. He's expecting you to always go travel to him. He's not communicating. He's literally doing less than the bare minimum, but you're happy when he does give breadcrumbs of effort.
When really at the end of the day, he's giving you barely anything at all.
He's giving you 5%. And basically this is what this guy does to every single girl he
That's
talks
just
to.
not true.
I don't know who needs to hear this right now, but if he's acting like he doesn't care, he's not calling you, texting you, initiating plans, then it's not because of all these reasons going on in your mind. Like, oh, he's busy with work, he's got friends in town, family issues. No, sweetheart, it's a lot simpler than that, okay? It's because, and I know this is gonna hurt to hear, but it's because he doesn't care. It's because he's chosen to not make you a priority. And I think that's disrespectful. I think that should be a turnoff. So while you're over here making excuses for him and clinging on to this romanticized fantasy in your brain and the best version of him, remember he's not doing any of that. So I personally think you should remind yourself of your worth, your catch, and if he doesn't see that, he's not worth your time and it is his loss, okay? Follow me for more dating tips and good luck.
Yeah, it's so true. We women are so emotional, you know. When a guy loses interest in us, we will still be making excuses for this guy. We'll say, okay, maybe he's so busy with his work. Oh, he told me he has a new project now. Maybe he's spending more time in that project, or maybe he needs some time off. You know, you're always giving excuses for this guy, you know. But whereas he's not doing the same, he might be with another woman, he might have replaced you, he might have lost interest in you, or he might not just want anything to do with you anymore, you know, but you're there just fantasizing, thinking about this romantic picture of you and him and thinking that, oh, he's busy with his project, blah, 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 blah. Girl. Sometimes he's not thinking about you. He has moved on in most cases.
That. So I personally think you should remind yourself of your worth, your catch, and if he doesn't see that, he's not worth your time and it is his loss, okay? Follow me for more dating tips and good luck.
So first of all, the fact that I'm using this term discard tells you that this cycle that I'm about to lay out does happen pretty often out there in the dating world. If it didn't, then there wouldn't be a term for it. In the typical avoidant discard process, you meet a guy, he's very charming and affectionate up front. You grow to really like him and you get attached to him over time. Once you're attached, eventually he kind of pulls the rug from underneath you. The reason for this is because the guy was an avoidant the entire time. When I say avoidant, what I mean by that is he has an avoidant attachment style. So attachment style 101, you have a spectrum here. On one side of the spectrum, you have people that are on the avoidant side. In the middle, you have people that are securely attached. And on the other side, you have people that are anxiously attached. And if you want to get really technical, avoidance can break down into dismissive avoidance or fearful avoidance. Bottom line is you're going to encounter men that are not emotionally available, but even worse than that, they're going to mislead you because of their own attachment wounds and insecurities. Your best line of defense against guys that are going to lead you on and waste your time, whether they're avoidants or narcissists or whatever they are, is the rule of sex exclusivity. It's impossible to know a guy's true nature early on. And if you become physical with him quickly, it's going to become really hard to disentangle your personal emotions from the objective facts about it.
He said it. Sexclusivity. No sex. No sex in the beginning. No. No. Sexclusivity.
Your time, whether they're avoidants or narcissists or whatever they are, is the rule of sex exclusivity. It's impossible to know a guy's true.
But there is also this argument that some guys can stick around until they have the sex, and once they have it, they will detach. They can stick around for as long as you keep withholding it. When you give it to them, they're gone. They're gone the next minute. I've seen so many videos of girls talking about this online. But is this true, guys? Because let's listen to the guys. We're talking about the guys here, and is exclusivity going to keep you around, or is going to make you lose interest in a girl? That's a question for you.
True nature early on. And if you become physical with him quickly, it's going to become really hard to disentangle your personal emotions from the objective facts about him.
4 things that make a man lose interest and what to do to get it back. Number 1, trying to win him over. The more he pulls back, the more you lean in. Maybe leaning in is a good thing in other areas, but not this one. When it comes to your career, lean in all you want. Not when it comes to a man. Don't try to show him how amazing you are and prove your worth. This just comes across as desperate and pathetic. Think about it logically. Do you ever like the guys who feel completely unworthy of you and are trying to prove themselves? No, because they're basically saying, I know I'm not good enough for you, but I hope you don't notice or have mercy on me and pick me anyway. Number 2, pushing an agenda on him. This is the worst attitude to have. That is trying to move things in a certain direction because it will make you feel better. Like you need him to make things official, to call you his girlfriend. And until then, you will feel unworthy and you will feel like something is wrong with you. Self-worth does not come from any sort of relationship milestone. Also, men don't operate this way in relationships. This is an area where the way men operate is like a little bit better, less stressful for sure. They don't usually make commitment the goal. They just feel it out, and commitment is a byproduct based on how compatible are we? How do we get along? What's the vibe like? So for you, try to remain present. If this is an issue for you, you're always jumping 20 steps ahead. The only question you should be asking yourself on a date is, do I want to go on another date? Not, is this guy my future husband, and how can I get him to see me as the one, and what can I do to make him fall in love with me? Number 3, doing all the work. In theory, this sounds nice, but nothing makes a guy lose interest faster than when he doesn't have to do anything to win you over. If he wants to see you, you'll be there. If he needs to cancel on you last minute, you won't hold it against him. He doesn't even have to text you first. You'll do it. He doesn't need to plan dates. You'll do it. He doesn't even need to think of interesting things to say. You're going to come up with all the interesting things to say in conversation. You don't need to fill every silence. You don't always need to be doing something in the relationship. When this happens, he may enjoy the perks, but he'll lose interest fast, because for a man to truly become invested in you and grow to like you in a real way, he has to invest in you. Number 4, complaining. This isn't just a man repeller, it's a people repeller. But I think that women tend to bond by complaining and sharing our struggles. Men aren't like this. If you're just going to him to vent and complain, he's just going to feel like, life is hard enough. I don't need to be in a relationship that's just going to bring me down. So if this is your tendency, try to keep it a little bit more light and a little bit more fun. Okay, so what should you do if you're...
But I feel like, okay, the advice is good, but not all good, First, she talked about not showing not showing how good you are to your partner, because if you're doing too much to show how good you are, it might come across as being desperate and pathetic. No, it depends on who you are having a relationship with, because if you're having a relationship with someone who is secured, a secured person is authentic. They know what they want. They go for what they want, and they are unapologetic when they are going after what they want. So if you are with someone who is secured and authentic, they will not care, because you are the one. They like you for who you are, and you doing that, like showing, trying to prove yourself, trying to show what you know how to do best. I think for them, it's going to be something that is positive, because, that's what they're looking for, because a secured person will always want to be with someone who is also secured, because the fact that you're trying to show what you're good at also is some sort of a way of you communicating how secured you are with the thing that you're doing and how passionate you are with this thing. For me, it doesn't give like desperate vibes or pathetic vibes. It also gives, for me, it's a plus. It's some sort of like a positive. It's something that's positive, and it might also be attractive to this person, the secured person. But it only becomes a problem with someone who is insecure, like someone who is fearful, someone who is not really sure of whether they want to be with you. But if it's someone who is really sure, who is secured and knows what they want, they will not see it as you being desperate. No, they wouldn't. And also, she also talked about dating a guy. Okay, I agree with this one. Dating, because the guys, when like you're trying to rush things as a woman in a relationship, you're trying to rush things. It goes both ways. It's either positive or negative. So if you're trying to rush things, it depends. There's some people who are in a stage in their lives where they know what they want. You know that by this time I want to be married, I want to have kids. That's your plan for your life. And that's a good thing. It's a good thing for people to have a plan, right? And it's also sometimes it can be overwhelming. But if you meet, like I always say, if you meet a secured person, someone who is authentic and unapologetic, right? You tell them that this is what I want, this is what I want, this is what I want. They are going to tell you upfront what they also want. So if they don't want to commit, if they don't want to be married, or they don't want to have kids, they will tell you, I don't want this. This is not what I want. And at that point, you are going to come to like mutually agree on what you want and decide if you want to continue with the relationship or not. Also, if you're someone who wants to be married, right, and you meet someone whom you see that this person doesn't want to be married, and this blah 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 blah, you are going to also know that this is not the kind of person that I should be talking marriage with. This is someone that I just want to date, right? And of course, I agree. Like, dating shouldn't be marriage, because so many times we women confuse dating with marriage. And I'll tell you that most men don't want to be committed. They don't want to be married. Men don't like to be in marriage. They don't like being tied just to one woman, like tied down. So if you're dating, just date and see if the man you're dating is the kind of man who likes to be married, who wants to be committed to you. Because most of the time you're going to meet people who don't want to be committed. They just want to play around and see, okay, maybe this is what I want, maybe this is not what I want, but it is good and it's also not good. But you should be conscious, you should be cautious and see if the person you are with is someone who wants to be committed, is someone who wants to be married. But we should always communicate what we want, because communication is the key. We need to communicate our feelings, our wants to the people we are dating. As adults, I don't know. That's my take on this. I don't know, guys. What do you think about it? Do you agree or you disagree? Continue the conversation. Feel free to continue the conversation in the comment section. I don't know if what I'm saying is so 100% right, but guys, I talk with guys a lot. I find time to chat with guys a lot, because we as women can only talk about things from our own perspectives. But when we talk with men about things that are manly things, the men will tell you these things. Like if you talk with men who are really open, they'll say it as it is. They'll tell you. And I have talked with so many men, and most men don't want to be married. They don't like to be married. They don't like to be tied just to one woman. They don't.
You're currently seeing a guy and sense that his interest is starting to fade. First, pull back. You need to recalibrate. And like I said, men need to invest in you, so give him the space to do so. Also, use this pulling back time to take the focus off of him and put it on yourself. He doesn't deserve all of your love and attention until he earns it. If you just enjoy life and engage with him and make nothing of it, your vibe will be enjoyable and positive, and he will be drawn to you. When it feels good to be around you, he'll want to be around you. This is like a core understanding about men in general. When he feels like you're trying to get something out of him, he'll want nothing to do with you. It's really as simple as that. Hope this was helpful. Make sure to follow me for more relationship.
Why he loses interest in you. I want you to imagine you didn't see your mother for 7 years. Yes, 7 whole years. In that 7-year period, you didn't text her, you didn't FaceTime her, you didn't even see a picture of her on Facebook. So for 7 years, you had absolutely zero communication with your mother. You couldn't even hear her voice. And finally, one day you hear a knock at the door. You open the door, and to your shock and surprise, it's your mother whom you haven't seen in 7 years. Imagine the emotion that would come over you in that moment, how tight you would hug your mother, the sobbing and the crying, and just the thankfulness that you finally get to be with your mother again. Now I want you to imagine your mother goes on to live with you in your house for 7 years. Every day for 7 years, you go to work, you come back, your mother's there. You invite a friend over for dinner, your mother's there. Somehow, every day you see your mother for the next 7 years, the way you embrace her and feel about her is never quite like the day you saw her after 7 years of not seeing her. A man's affection will grow for you the most when he misses you.
I love this analogy. But he failed to talk about your mother. You haven't seen her for 7 years. No communication, no FaceTime, nothing, not even her voice. Then all of a sudden she knocks on the door. There's a knock on the door, you open the door, and that's your mother. You hug her, you cry, you sob, and you're so thankful that you've seen your mother after 7 years. Then your mother is going to start living with you for the next 7 years. Every day you wake up, you see your mother. Every day you go out, your friends come over, your mother is there. Like, your mother is in your place 24/7. He didn't talk about the fact that you are going to be so bored having your mother around. You are going to be so bored because that's your mother. That's not your partner. That's not your girlfriend. That's your mother. And you know how bossy and nosy mothers are. Even when you are a grown adult, they live in with you. They are going to be so nosy. They are going to be all up in your business. And, it's not going to be nice. You guys will end up be fighting all the time about little things, as maybe the butter is finished and you forgot to buy the butter, or the toilet paper is finished and you forgot to buy the toilet paper, or you use the toilet and it's not clean. She's gonna be all up in your business. He forgot to talk about that, and you're not gonna take it, because at some point you tell your mother to leave your house, because that's your house and that's not your mother's place. This is so funny. I don't know if this analogy also applies to dating, because This is your mother. It's not your partner. It's not a friend. It's not an acquaintance. This is your mother. And this is somebody who feels like they have some superior authority over you. And he is black, like me. And we all know how black mothers are all up in our business all the time, you know. I don't know. And it's even worse if she's African black mother. Oh my God. Oh my God. You don't want to live with your mother under the same roof. She can visit. She can visit for as long as she wants, but we cannot live together. I mean, all the policing and bossing when I was still a teenager, and all that. And then I'm an adult. I want to live my life freely. Then my mother has to come and live with me. Nah. I don't think this applies to a relationship between men and women. But we can do a whole video of 100 hours only for mothers coming to live with their adult kids. No way.
You go to work, you come back, your mother's there. You invite a friend over for dinner, your mother's there. Somehow, every day you see your mother for the next 7 years, the way you embrace her and feel about her is never quite like the day you saw her after 7 years of not seeing her. A man's affection will grow for you the most when he misses you.
If you notice him losing interest in you, this is what you're gonna do. Let's say you've been seeing each other for a little while, or you've been together for a little while, and all of a sudden you notice that he is losing interest in you. He's gotten comfortable, he's not really reaching out anymore, he's not really making an effort, you're also not really having sex anymore. When you notice a man actively losing interest in you and in your relationship or marriage, do not try and fix it. Do not try to win him back. Do not try to rebuild the relationship or the marriage. Because remember this, the more you do for him, the less he's gonna do for you. It is not your job to fix or rebuild the relationship. And you cannot force him to all of a sudden have the interest and the spark and the desire to pursue you again. So here's what to do instead. The first sign that you notice of your dynamic shifting, of him pulling back, of him losing interest, you are going to become the most selfish version of yourself. You are going to focus all that mental and emotional energy that you always try to put on him to fix the relationship back into yourself. Reinvent yourself. Set yourself a certain time frame and be very specific about it. You can give yourself a month, maybe even 3 months if you've been together for a while. And in that time frame, you're going to pretend that this man doesn't even fucking exist. You are going to pretend that you are single. Obviously, you're not sleeping with anybody else because you're still in a commitment, but you're mentally detached. And you embody the same version of yourself that you used to be before you met this man. Light-hearted, mentally detached, unbothered, going out with the girls, focusing on your routine, focusing on your body, your health, getting your nails done, getting your hair done, trying new makeup routines, putting together an entire new closet. Only reply to him when he's messaging or texting or calling when it's necessary. You want to limit access to you as much as possible. Now, all of a sudden, because you stopped doing so much, because you stopped overcompensating, trying to fix the relationship, you pulled back, and your man's true intentions with you will be revealed. He will notice the change in your behavior and the confusion will start. Oh my God, am I losing her? Is there another man in her life? Why is she not trying to fix the relationship anymore? Is she getting bored of me? What's happening? That's exactly what you want. You want him sitting on the edge of his seat, not knowing what your next move is going to be. And that is how you have all the power back and also spark his interest again. Remember, ladies, they don't respond to your words, and you're nagging and you're complaining what it should have been, what it could have been, why it's not like it used to be in the beginning. They respond to no contact and you withdrawing and pulling back. So their ego is triggered to win you back over. If after 1 or 3 months of you focusing only purely on yourself and treating this man like he doesn't even exist, and he still doesn't catch on and come your way and try to pursue and chase you again, you dodged a bullet. That man was never emotionally committed to you. So regardless, you win because you now walk out of that relationship with an entire new version of yourself. And if you still don't believe me and tell me, no, this is playing games, this doesn't work, why do they always come back the moment you break up and focus on yourself? It's exactly the same thing, but this time you're getting into that mindset while you're still in the relationship or in the marriage, and watch him come your way.
Reinvent yourself, detach emotionally, work on yourself, and he's gonna come back. If he doesn't come back, girl, walk off. because you are going to win. You're going to be the one who is winning. As she said, you're going to win because you've worked on yourself, and you now have a new version of yourself, which is going to attract the one for you. Did I say it right? Okay. Reinvent yourself. Detach from him emotionally. Behave like as if he never existed. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. Work on yourself. And he is going to be at the edge of his seat. Like, am I losing her? He's going to try and come back. Try to win you back. And that's what you want. But if he doesn't make any effort to win you back, then he is not the one for you, baby. But you know what? You are moving on from this relationship with your head held up high. Why? Because you have taken time to work on yourself, and you are going to attract the right person for you. So never you chase a man who is running away from you. Never. Don't chase a man who is running away from you. That's the rule. It always works. And if the guy doesn't come back, baby, that's the best sign. He is not the man for you. Say bye and move on. Just say bye. Thank you all for watching. Guys, what do you think about this? This was a great video, but if you think otherwise, drop your thoughts in the comment section. Guys, let's continue the conversation in the comment section. Until next time, see you all. Bye-bye.